Game 3, Western Conference first round. I'm not going to do a dramatic over. My audio for the game audio was not any good, so we're just going to get a sick montage as we roll in to Game 4, Western Conference first round, 1 versus 8 seed. You see Darius Dixon there. You're not going to see him on the court because he is still out for the Golden State Warriors with a sprained MCL suffered in the Warriors' Game 2 win. It's a 2-1 series advantage for Golden State. Savion White and the Blazers took Game 1 on the road. The Warriors have won the last 2 as the series shifts to Portland. It's a big series for Golden State. They need to take care of business in this one before or as quickly as they possibly can, as you see Jermaine Trimble starting in the forward position in place of Darius Dixon for Golden State. So if the Warriors want to extend their pursuit of a 4th straight title, they're going to need a quick win and a quick series win. Meanwhile, you just saw Savion White there. This is potentially maybe the last time we see Savion White in Portland if the Blazers can't win tonight and force at least a Game 6 coming back around. Unrestricted free agent, that has been the biggest question mark of this season hanging over Portland. Was that man right there, up fake, gets rolling, and then finally puts one in to kick off scoring for the Blazers. As always, we'll kind of I'm not going to do a play-by-play necessarily. We'll just kind of talk about where we're at. Jonathan Kuminga, as he buries a 3, no stranger to needing to step up in the playoffs. There was a season, 2031, when Javon Roll was out, when Jalen Suggs at the time was the Warriors' second guard. He was out, and Jonathan Kuminga carried this team single-handedly to a very competitive but ultimately losing series against, I believe it was the Oklahoma City Thunder or the New Orleans Pelicans in the midst of the Pels' 5 consecutive Western Conference Finals. He had a 50-point triple-double, multiple 50-point games that kept the Warriors alive, but they ended up falling in 6 games, fell down 3-1, and couldn't work their way back up. He's no stranger, obviously, to being able to play in big minutes as Aiden Lucas gets rolling. It's a 2-point game here late first quarter. They're going to need that version of Jonathan Kuminga, and the Warriors have really gotten it. He's been really good in this series in all 3 games thus far. He's been the type of star that they've expected of him, and because they don't have Darius Dixon, that's really vitally important. In this first round series, he had 31 in Game 2, 39 in Game 3 to make it a 2-1 series here for the Warriors as Javon Roll gets rolling. Can't get that to go in, but it's Jermaine Trimble, offensive board, put back. Trimble's a downhill type of guy. He's not a great three-point shooter. He's a 35-ish% as Keon Granger gets rolling. He buries a 3, but they're going to need a big night. If Golden State's going to make the run, it's going to be Trimble, it's going to be Keon Granger. Granger didn't play in either of Game 1 or 2. He's kind of slotted into the lineup now, getting major rotation minutes now Game 3 and Game 4 as Javon Roll buries a 3 with 1.4 seconds left in the opening quarter, making it a 6-point game as we flip to quarter 2. Meanwhile, Portland, we said it, Savion White, is this going to be it for him? We've seen him as a nice steal here, trying to get in transition. Portland hanging around, down 4, kicking it over to Savion White for the corner pocket 3, and it's a 1-point game just like that. But Savion White, the Blazers have made a lot of moves to try to make Savion White the number 1 guy on a contender as he goes at Aaron Triano, barking at him on the way back, and Portland's up by 1. That has not really worked for them. Jalen Blackman, former Golden State Warrior backup point guard, he's their starting point guard. He's fine, 17 point per game type of guy. Jonte Taylor's their small forward, also fine, 17, 16 point per game guy. Evan Mobley is their 4, their 5. He's been good. Obviously, also a former Golden State Warrior back during the prime, the beginning of the three-peat days. But none of them have been a superstar. None of them have begun or been Jonathan Kuminga to Javon Roll or even Darius Dixon to Javon Roll. That's what Savion White is missing, and a big night so far for Evan Mobley draws the Warrior timeout. But that's why this offseason is so consequential. Unrestricted free agency for Savion White. Is he going to take the route of loyalty for an organization that's really tried to put championship contender roster around him? Or does he depart for greener pastures where he can say, look, I need another guy. I need a star to play next to, because you look around the NBA, and that's all there is stars, man. All there is stars, too deep on every team that's in the playoffs and what you would expect to be a contender, right? Golden State's got 3 of them. Phoenix, Cade Cunningham, and Jacoby Cleaves, Darius Dixon, and Jacob Kuksix, who's a fringe all-star for the Jazz. You've got a ton of dudes that's just in the Western Conference. Sacramento Kings, of course, they have 2. The Lakers have 3. The Thunder have a couple. You can't win with the number 2s that have been surrounding Savion White as we head to the third quarter in what's been a competitive one. The Blazers are on top by 1 here, early third. Jermaine Trimble going to work on Jonte Taylor, who we talked about. This is a dangerous spot for the Blazers only because the Warriors' third quarters as Russell Kingston goes to work on Savion White. This is kind of where they start to pull things away as Jonte Taylor gets a midi to go. He's a bucket. Jonte Taylor can be a bucket. He got 20 points per game in last season's playoffs. Ultimately, though, the Blazers got swept in the second round by the Phoenix Suns. So what to watch as we head to the third is, can the Blazers, who have hung around in this one, 5-point game now, can they withstand a run inside to Jonte Taylor? That goes. Easy bucket for Taylor against Russell Kingston. Savion White then the midi, and just like that, it's back to it. So they're hanging around. I don't want to eulogy too much and talk about what could be of Savion White, because right now Portland, they don't know if this is going to be the last game or not. Tied at 54. We're seeing good performance right now. Aaron Triano, that one kicks to Nico Weems, the very lightly used guard/wing for this team, as he gets that to go on Tyron Marsh. Big play there. Turnover for Aiden Lucas. That's going to run in transition for Jaheim Briggs, the vet who missed so much time this season because of a knee injury. This is a kick. Corner 3. Aaron Triano, as they have found some Warrior depth. They have 60-54. Game teeter, and the Warriors have led by 6. We'll lock in here in the fourth quarter. Every single possession. Keon Granger deep 3 gets that. 63-54. Warriors largest lead now, as you see Jermaine Trimble on the sideline. 9-point advantage. Blazers are going to need to get some buckets with no Savion White on the floor. Kevin Porter Jr. rattles in and out. Aiden Lucas, the most unguardable player in basketball, kicks to Triano. His 3 won't go, but you can't keep the 7'8" big man off the boards. He's my favorite guy to play with, side note for you. Absolute pleasure. Foul called on Triano will send Blackman to the line for a pair. He gets those to go. We talked, hey, can you withstand the Golden State onslaught? Kick it, Triano. If this man makes a 3, this team is a problem. He's got a couple of them already. He's been a nice revelation as they've tried to find bench. Meanwhile, it's to Aaron Triano's point, Jalen Blackman only ends up in Portland because the Warriors trade for Aaron Triano, who was a lottery pick by the Blazers. Now, I'll tell you right now, Aaron Triano is not as good of a basketball player as Jalen Blackman, but not to be overlooked there as Jonathan Kuminga draws the foul. He'll head to the line and continue to push this game into double figures. 11-point game now, early fourth quarter. And then a block by Aiden Lucas. He's been a deterrent on just about everybody in the league. As now comes Jonathan Kuminga backing down Savion White. You like that matchup. Good defense. Spins around, can't get it to go. And Triano somehow boxed out there by the smaller defender for Portland. This feels like it's getting out of hand, though. Needing buckets, they won't get one. And if this is, in fact, it, oh, man, we said we weren't going to do the eulogy. I think we might be able to do the eulogy just about now, folks. 73-59, the lead is extending. A steal is going to head at the opposite direction for the Warriors. 4 minutes to go. Steph Curry type 3 from Javon Roll, and it's a 17-point game, and the onslaught is indeed here. And if Golden State says, hey, we think we can win a championship, even if Deonte Dixon, no timetable set on him, even if Deonte Dixon isn't healthy, it's because that man right there who just dishes it to Jalen House for another 3. Javon Roll can cook. He's been great tonight as they kick this one to the corner, Jonte Taylor, and in this second half, first half, the Blazers were in this thing. They were getting buckets to fall. In the second half, those buckets have simply not been there as Russell Kingston has to fire that one up at the buzzer. But a 20-point game, and this very well could be, unless the Warriors can't take care of business at home. And Savion White amongst a crowd of Warriors probably going to be the end. I mean, it just feels like, how can you, if you're Savion White, how can you stick around an organization that this is what you're looking at? Last season, they get swept by Phoenix. This season, they're going to lose. And do you trust them to go on the road and win another one? I don't, after these last 3 games, this one included. Do you believe Savion White can stay? I mean, Portland doesn't really have much to offer anybody to try to go get a star of any kind, and Aiden Lucas, the block, the deterrent there on Evan Mobley again, and this 20-point game continues to wind down, 1 minute to go, and this is all going to be, as I like to say, cosmetic. Jalen Blackman will pump that one up, that won't go. Evan Mobley draws the foul, he'll head to the line for a couple just to try to tidy this thing up, but a real awful fourth quarter for the Portland Trailblazers is going to end their pursuit of trying to tie this thing up with the number 1 team in all of the NBA. Savion White driving, kicking, corner 3 goes in what could be the last time we see Savion White in a Portland Trailblazers uniform. The final 126-99. The Warriors now up 3-1, 26 from Javon Roll, 19 from Kuminga. A nice 10-6 from Trimble. They outscored the Blazers 63-45 from three-point, but you see it on the right side. 60-32 in the second half and 47-20 in bench points. The Blazers are outscored 29 from Savion White. It feels like that could be the last time we see him in a Portland uniform in Portland. We're going to come back around for a second episode. We're going to recap the first round here in a couple days, preview all of our semifinals. But as it sits right now, Golden State on top, 3-1 over the Blazers, headed back home for a chance to close out Portland as they need to try to get healthy. Best way to do that? Win early. Get Darius Dixon back into the lineup. We'll come up in a couple days. First round recap, semis preview coming up next.